If you're a brand new player in Warpath and you are trying to figure out which events to spend on, which events to not spend on, and which events are going to give you the most bang for your buck, then this video is going to be for you. Welcome back, guys. I hope everybody is doing well. Like I said in the intro, if you are a new player in Warpath, it can definitely feel overwhelming. There is so much to do. There is so much to learn. And if you intend on spending even just a little bit of money, you want to make sure you're spending it in the right places. And this video is going to tell you arguably the best event to invest your money in to get the most amount of return from the money you invest. And that event is going to be the Legendary Showroom. Now, of course, it's a great event, just a surface level, because you're able to get a lot of different items, cosmetic, and then actual unit skins, base skins, attack effects, things like that that are going to grant you buffs, which will, of course, help you. But there's also a massive, massive benefit from this event that's beyond just the surface level buffs that you get from acquiring these items. So to get a little bit of a better picture on what I am referring to, what you're going to want to do is come over here, click on your command center. You're going to click on skins, and then you will see in the top left or towards the top left a skin set button. You're going to want to click on that. And I'm not going to take the time to kind of scroll through all of this just because it's not necessary, but you're going to be able to come through and you're going to be able to see all of the different skin sets and the associated items that come along with each skin set. Now, this Legendary Showroom is not the only place you can go to acquire all of these items, but it is the place where you're going to get the vast majority of the items, which is absolutely where you're going to get a ton of additional benefit outside of, like I said, just the standard surface level items from the event. Now, this is kind of an exception to the rule. This is a little bit of a different event, but we can scroll down a little bit and we'll use Glory Castle as this is the kind of skin set here or set of items that is currently going on. So you can see once you acquire the base skin, Glory Castle, the Sandstalker unit skin, the attack effects here, the chat bubble, and the emote, you're going to get some additional buffs that go along with that. Now, here's the deal. This isn't where it stops. There's going to be an additional benefit tied to this in addition to this. And this is why the Legendary Showroom is such a lucrative event. Because once you get the Glory Castle, you're going to automatically get tank and helicopter firepower buff of 2%. That applies to all of your tanks and helicopters. Once you unlock the Sandstalker unit skin, you're going to get an artillery firepower buff of 2%. So that is for any artillery unit that you've got, you're going to get an additional 2% firepower buff to that permanently. Once you own all of these items here in this Glory Castle set, you're going to get an additional third buff, which is going to increase your base and troop damage resist by 1%. That's obviously very helpful in its own, but where it really starts to get beneficial is when you compound this over time. As you start to participate in a lot of these Legendary Showroom events, you start to complete a lot of these different skin sets, you're going to start really stacking a lot of these buffs, and that is going to help you out a tremendous amount. Now, the third layer of this is in addition to the skin sets, which the skin sets tie to this next piece, but it all ties back ultimately to primarily the Legendary Showroom. You're gonna come over here to your museum. You can click on the collection button and you're going to have a collector level. You can see an outline, or I shouldn't say an outline, but more of like an overview of how many of each of these items that you actually own at any given time. You can see your collector level here. And then if we click on collection rewards, you can see that you gain additional buffs on top of all of the buffs that we've already talked about tied to your collector level. So I'm not going to go through each and every one of these just because you're going to be able to access this very early in the game. And even if you don't have a certain level, you can still scroll through and see all of the buffs that are associated with each collector level that you move up to. But you can just see how it really starts to kind of have that compounding interest effect, so to speak, because your first level right out of the gate, you're going to get tank and helicopter training speed of 10%, tank and helicopter firepower 2 additional percent, tank and helicopter HP plus 2%, and obviously you can scroll on, and you can, as of right now this is subject to change, they may very well add more levels. I would be very shocked if they don't at some point. Now, when that might happen, who knows? It might be in 6 months, it might be in 5 years, don't know, but I would, again, be shocked if they don't add more levels, but maybe they don't. But for example, once you reach level 130, which for full transparency, to reach level 130 on the collector level scale here, you have to spend an absolutely obscene amount of money. Like, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars invested into the game. So the vast majority of players are not going to reach this level 130, but for those of you that do, you're obviously going to benefit from that. But point being is, as you progress through this and level up your collection level or your collector level, you're going to continue to get more and more additional buffs. So just to recap and try to put this into a small condensed down picture, the legendary showroom is going to give you the ability to earn all of these baseline items here, which are going to come with their own individual buffs, right? So if we click on the unit skin here, just acquiring this unit skin is going to give that unit, that whatever unit it is that has got the skin set attached to it, is going to increase that firepower by 5%. In this case, this is an anti-tank gun only unit skin, so it can only be used on the anti-tank gun. But if you have it applied to your anti-tank gun, you're going to get a 5% firepower buff just from simply having this unit skin tied to it. Moving on to the base skin here, you're going to get a firepower increase of 5%. That is a universal firepower increase, so that is going to apply to tanks, artillery, infantry, and then underneath that, you're going to get a tank and helicopter firepower specific additional buff of an additional 5%. So that's going to be applied across the board. So you guys can see how it starts to compound. You're going to get damage resist here of 1%, and then damage intensity of 1% for owning these attacks effects. That's assuming you have them applied after you actually have unlocked them, but that's just the baseline. And then once you acquire the whole skin set, you're going to get those additional skin set buffs that we talked about. And as you start to acquire these items, your collector level is going to continue to go up, which is going to provide even more buffs. So you can see how quickly these buffs start to stack and why this event is arguably the single most beneficial event in Warpath that you can invest money into. Truthfully, guys, the showroom event is very, very beneficial. So if you are going to invest in the game, that is the place to do it, at least to start. There's, of course, other beneficial things that you can buy and invest in the game. I'm not saying that there's not, but this is going to give you the most bang for your buck. If you have stuck around and made it this far into the video, if you've got access to Discord and are not already in my community Discord server, the link to that is going to be in the description of the video below. Click on that link. It will take you right into the community Discord server. Whether you are a new player, a veteran player, or somewhere in between, it doesn't matter. Absolutely everybody is welcome. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch the video today, and we'll see you on the next one.